Once upon a time, there used to be an ant, A-N-T, ant. Long ago, very long ago. This ant is pretty much disappointed with its life, being so small, minuscule, trivial, and its life amounts to nothing. And this ant is pretty much disappointed with its state, and it wanted to be treated specially. Okay, and since it is not getting any kind of respect from rest of the creatures or animals or living beings, so it set out to impress God with its tapasya and wanted to meditate, offer penance, and want to get some extraordinary powers, special powers, so that people or other living creatures will start respecting it. Now, ant decided to pray to God. It went into the forest and started meditating and doing its tapasya. And finally, God appeared, pleased with the ant's efforts. When God asked for the boon, ant with its all excitement asked the God one particular boon, which is like this. The ant said, I want my bite to be lethal and deadly. So God immediately granted the wish, so be it. And since then, whenever an ant bites, right, it gets immediately killed. It has turned out to be lethal for itself. Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Suresh. I am your mentor for this 5-day course. Welcome to day 2 of Holistic Diabetes Reversal Program. Today's topic is the story of diabetes. So the tagline for this story is, it is in our hands. That means we are writing our story or we are scripting our story, and whatever we have scripted till now, it is still in our hands to rewrite it. Okay, so coming to the story of diabetes, what exactly diabetes is? What are all the things that we know, right? So there are certain things that we know and then we'll see what we know about diabetes, whether it is right or wrong, and how it is being manifested. So we all know that the sugar levels in our blood, sugar in blood usually go up. So how do we measure this? We do fasting blood sugar, we do random blood sugar, we do ppbs, and we also do A1C, HbA1c, glycated hemoglobin. These are biochemical parameters that we know. And there is one gold standard, that is oral glucose tolerance test. That also, that we give a challenge to our body by drinking water with glucose in it and see how quickly and our body responds to that. And second thing is, we also heard that insulin is not present or low in our body. And with insulin, we also hear a term called pancreas, right? Something wrong with our pancreas. Then the third thing we know about insulin is, it is we have to live with for our lifetime. So lifetime of medications, right? Lifetime of medications. Once you have diabetes, you have to take medicine for lifetime. And there are certain complications that we come to know. Complications like, if a person is suffering with uncontrolled sugar for quite some time, he may end up problem with his vision. That means eyes may get affected, kidneys may get affected, and nerves may get affected, right? Finally, it may lead to some kind of amputation of limbs, and kidneys means dialysis, and also it may lead to other lifestyle diseases like diabetes may lead to heart disease or gastritis or hypertension, okay, or in some cases osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. All these things we heard a lot about complications. And the reason why we get this diabetes, if you look at the causes, okay, so here it becomes interesting, right? What is interesting in causes? Many people tend to believe that it is the genes of the parents is one of the prime reasons that so many people had suffered with diabetes in our family, and I am at risk of developing genes. And people who are well educated and have read about diabetes and all this stuff, they attribute it to their eating habits. So my eating habits are a bit erratic, probably it could lead. And some people, they attribute it to obesity, and some other people say that it is lack of exercise, enough physical exercise, and some people even say the stress, okay, and poor lifestyle, right, not able to get enough sleep, and waking up fresh, insomnia or any other kind of disorders. Okay, so this is what we know, right? But in this class, we'll be looking at some serious truth. Okay, now if you have gone through the conclusion of our first lesson, okay, we have come to an understanding that no matter how healthy you are eating, and no matter how healthy your lifestyle, stress, and rest of the things are, unless and otherwise, the person who you are is having emotional balance and emotional hygiene. Okay, all the nutrients are not going to do their function optimally. That means food is as good as the person who is consuming it. Okay, both go hand in hand. Whatever food we are taking, it is supposed to be healthy and good, and at the same time the person who is consuming is equally important, right? That's what our conclusion is. So what is the connection between our conclusion in the first lesson, the ant story, and the truth about our diabetes? So I would say, do all of this, what we know about diabetes, right, are 100% facts? Say for example, do all people have to go through complications of diabetes? The answer is 50-50, both yes and no. If one is not managing their sugar levels in the blood and their glycated hemoglobin in check in their blood, they will probably go through all the complications over a period of time. But if we can keep check all these parameters, then the problem of complications will never arise. Okay, and is it necessary to take lifetime of medications in case of diabetes? Yes, earlier it was perceived, it was understood that one has to maintain forever their sugar levels by taking drugs. Now it is no longer the truth. Okay, there are hundreds and thousands of people in the world who have shown, right, by right kind of lifestyle interventions, that means by right kind of diet, exercise, maintaining their weight, maintaining their lifestyle, and their stress levels, it is possible to get rid of these medications as well. So lifetime medications of diabetes is not a truth, right? And is pancreas is really damaged in case of type 2 diabetes? Type 2 diabetes is adult onset diabetes, where the insulin production is normal, but it has become dysfunctional or ineffective. So in this type 2, is it seriously wrong with the production of insulin or the availability of insulin, or something wrong with pancreas? No, your pancreas, even if you are suffering with type 2 diabetes and living it with for quite some time, it is not a problem. Okay, and do we know seriously the cause of diabetes? right? You go to a doctor, an MBBS doctor, a simple MBBS doctor who have done 6 years of medical training, or go to an MD, general medicine, general physician, who have done another 3 years of extensive research on medicine, and you still can go to an endocrinologist who is a super specialist, who is an authority, right? The best or the highest authority on hormones and on diabetes. You go to him and ask these three people only one question: what is the cause of diabetes? Right? What causes diabetes? No one knows. No one knows. Right? Why no one knows? Let's look at a simple fact. What is the cause of typhoid? Right? We know that Salmonella typhi is a bacterium. It comes in contact with our body, enters our body. After a few days, we'll get typhoid fever. Similarly, if tuberculosis bacillus is attacking our body, and after few days or few months or whenever the body's immune system is weakened enough, it manifests as tuberculosis, right? So here, this is the cause acting on your body and or a period of time leading into a sickness or an illness or a disease. But what in case is acting on our body and finally resulting in the so-called deadly and dreadful diabetes? What is the cause? Right? We don't know the cause. We don't know the cause. No doctor knows in the world what causes diabetes. But when you don't know what the cause is, and but this particular body is given food every day, right? Exercise, whether it is the body is exercising or not, it is the lifestyle, it is the relationships we have, it is the stress level, it is the work that we do, right? It is the environment that we live in, it is the pollution, right? All these things are called together as our lifestyle. So if we are unable to find the cause of diabetes, and probably some of the factors in our life is interacting with our body on second to second basis and finally resulting in irregular sugar levels in our body, causing diabetes. Okay, that's why they are called lifestyle diseases. If we can get our lifestyle in line and disciplined, right, and we can get rid of this diabetes completely. Got it? So here it is quite easy. We know who is attacking our body. If you give an antibiotic, right, we can kill this and the body comes back to health again. You don't have to take medicines for lifestyle. But here we don't know what to attack, right? Not all diabetics, their eating habits are not bad. Not all diabetics, their weight is not bad. They are not obese, and their stress levels are not that much high. They may not be doing a sedentary job. So, but these risk factors were observed in patients suffering with diabetes. That is why they are called risk factors. They are not cause. Okay. Now, coming back to the ant story. Again, the ant took her life very seriously. Right? Most of us take our life that much seriously. Right? What do I mean by serious? Whatever is happening around in society, there is always pressure on us to perform, to prove our worth, and to live up to the standards set by society, right? The dictates of the society drives our behavior, and this behavior is based on certain belief systems. So what is a belief system? What is a belief? Belief is a personalized or personal truth. Okay, Maybe you belong to a certain faith and I may belong to a certain faith. For me, someone else is God, and for you, someone else is your God. That is a belief system, right? That is your personal truth, and this is my personal truth. And I may not believe that eating rice is cause of the diabetes, but you may believe that eating rice is causing diabetes. So this belief, whatever we hold on to, drives what is known as our behavior, right? What is our behavior? Behavior is nothing but the set of choices we make day in and day out. We all make certain choices, right? Choices about our food, whether to do exercise or not, whether to manage stress or not, whether to manage our lifestyle or not in a healthy way, right? And keep our relationships healthy. All these things we make certain choices. These choices collectively becomes our behavior. But these choices ultimately they lead to something known as consequence. Every choice we make, right? What would you like to have for your early morning wake up drink or wake up food? What is that immediately that you are doing immediately after waking up? That is a choice you are making every day throughout your life. There is a consequence, whether you want to have a hot coffee or a tea, or maybe you can choose for a green juice. Every choice you make, right, there is a consequence. Finally, this behavior leads to something known as that is tangible, which is nothing but our body. So this is the manifestation or the consequence, right? So coming to the ant belief system is that it is useless, it is trivial. It wanted to make its life special, and the choice of its behavior is sponsored by a certain kind of behavior. The boon that it asked, sponsored by a belief system that it is trivial. Okay, it made a wrong choice. What is choose wrong choice of words, and it died. Similarly, if we are making, because of our certain belief systems, right, whatever belief systems that are there, we are making choices every day. See, each one of us, at least we are taking 4 times a meal. 30 into at least 4 times, this is 120. 120 into 12, right? 14,400, 1,440. In a year, we are making these many choices about our food, and we are facing the consequence. Here, no genes, no environment, no stress. Only we are talking about exclusively about the food. Are we making most out of this particular choice or not? Okay. So if we analyze what our behavior is and what is sponsoring our behavior, what our belief system is, then we can make this body as a sick body or a healthy body, right? You can offer your body a strong protection, right, from the sickness. So that is the reason why we say it is in our hands. Now let us try to understand what exactly is happening. We take the example of food and exercise. It is quite easy, right? And these principles we are going to use extensively in our program Holistic Diabetes Reversal, and how they are being processed. If we look at our digestive system, we take food, and food gives us nutrients, and these nutrients give us energy to do day-to-day tasks. So just like these energy is calculated in calories, right? So just like, we do what do you say, we do a job and we get a salary. This is our job and this is our salary, and we calculate this salary in, let's say if you are in India, you are calculating this in Indian rupees or in dollars or whatever it is. Okay. So the purpose of food is to provide us with energy. Every food that we take, every food that we consume gives us energy. When we take food, it goes into the esophagus. From there, it goes into our stomach. From there into small intestines. These are all small intestines. From here, the food comes to large intestine. Right? This is large intestine. And where from here undigested food is eliminated in the form of feces. And of course, we do have a liver over here. Okay, this is our liver, and liver spends bile, and we have a pancreas over here, and pancreas sends this certain enzymes to digest the food into our intestine. Now, this particular food is converted to nutrients, right? It has come into the system, it is converted into nutrients, and finally it should enter into our circulation. To understand this in a simple language, imagine there is paddy. Okay, paddy is unprocessed rice. So consider that whatever food is going into our system is like paddy going into a rice mill. So rice mill is our total digestive system, and food is converted to nutrients like carbohydrate, protein and fat. Just like that, rice mill also gives us the rice, and there are certain byproducts like husk, right, bran and all this stuff, we get byproducts. But the nutrients, once they are processed, digested, and these are extracted from the food, they remain in the small intestine. From there, from small intestine, they need to get into something known as our blood circulation. This is our blood vessel. From here, nutrients should enter into our blood circulation. Now, the rice bags that are there in the rice mill, who are the end consumers? We are the end consumers. Let's say this is a colony of houses, right? These people, they are supposed to get the food. And how does the rice reach this particular colony? In the form of a road. Okay, so from here through a road, the food is coming, carrying what? Rice bags. All the houses are given rice bags. Similarly, in our body, once these carbohydrates, which is called glucose, protein and fat, once they enter, they needs to get delivered into the cells. Our body is made up of hundreds, close to 100 trillion cells. Trillion. The word is trillion with T, right? So if we talk about like Indian system, it is 1 trillion is 1 lakh crore. 100 lakh crore cells are what are made up of. So whatever food we eat, it needs to be delivered through blood to all the cells. Okay, let's say you had your breakfast at 8 a.m. By 10 a.m. all the food is converted into nutrients, and these nutrients are entering. So by 10 o'clock, all the sugar level in your blood goes up. Okay, all this glucose is also called sugar. The common name for glucose is sugar. The levels go up, and where they are going? They are going to the cells. Okay, they are going to what is known as cells. So we have cells. Let's say skin, it is going to skin, and skin is made up of skin cells. Below that we have muscle, and below that we have bone. Okay, now just like every colony has got an access road, every cell in our body has got a capillary bringing in this glucose, protein and fat. For our time being, we just talk about glucose. This glucose by 10 o'clock has reached your blood circulation. Now, if the rice bag is here, we cannot cook that. So, we have to take it inside. We have to take this inside. For that, you need a helper. Imagine the person living in this house is 70-year-old lady. She cannot bring a 20 kg or a 50 kg rice bag into her kitchen. She needs a helper. In our body also, we have one helper whose name is insulin. So what insulin does is, as long as the food or glucose is there in the blood, it will knock on the door and it has got key to open it and take this glucose inside the cell, where the glucose is cooked and energy is released, right? Simple. When you take food, it is digested, getting into the blood circulation, going to all cells, and insulin is the person who will open the door and take the glucose inside. Now what happens if enough insulins are there? It will open up all the gates in the cell, right? So in this way, insulin is regulating our blood sugar. Got it? This is the first thing. Now we are faced with two situations. What are those situations? First of all, the amount of food we are consuming. Amount of food. That means the load of glucose. What is your requirement? And how much you are spending in a day? How many of you know that in a day how many calories am I consuming? Out of that, how much of that is carbohydrate? And in 24 hours, how much of that glucose or carbohydrate or sugar that I am spending? Do we know? We don't know. And second thing, what happens with this is, say you are taking 2000 worth calories of sugar or energy in any form, whether it is carbohydrate, protein or fat, you are taking 2000 calories. Your expenditure is only, let's say 1100, right? You are able to spend only 1100 calories throughout the day. How much you are left with? You are left with an excess of 900 calories. These 900 calories, whose job is this? Okay, now let's go back to our blood circulation. This is the cell. And here insulin is faced with a dilemma. Okay, so last night you have been to a party, right? Your office party or a relative's party, where you had like huge spread of buffet and a couple of drinks, and by the time you reached home, it is 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, and immediately you went to bed. Okay, and all the glucose that has come and roaming around in your blood for quite some time, it will come and knock on the cells doors. Boss, there is food. But in party, you are not doing anything. You are sitting idly, having a good time, chatting, drinking, lot of calories inside, and there is no physical work involved. The cells, they don't require any energy because there is no demand for any physical activity. Now, the glucose is worried. It stays in the circulation. The glucose levels in our blood remains high. So, what it does is, the insulin understands that in order to get glucose, the body has to go through a lot. So many things have to work. So many enzymes needs to be produced, hormones, muscular activity, acid, so many organs, liver, pancreas, small intestine, all have to work in tandem, right? In synchronicity to produce this. And as I said, this is our income, hard-earned money. You cannot throw it. And by the time it is 8 or 9 in the morning, you wake up immediately in the form of breakfast. We send a further load. Right? What insulin does is, it cannot keep sugar in the blood. It cannot keep sugar in the blood. So what it does is, it converts all this sugar, or let's say one glucose molecule is giving you 4 calories. One glucose is giving you 4 calories. So this is converted to fat to store this energy in a secured form. So every 9 calories will become 1 gram of fat, and here you have 100 grams of fat stored in your body. Got it? So 2 variables here. The income, this is income and this is expenditure. If there is an imbalance, the glucose which is supposed to open the door and take the insulin which is supposed to open the door and take the glucose inside and control the sugar level is finding an alternative route of sending these glucose molecules into making something known as fat. Instead of managing glucose, the insulin has acquired a new skill of fat making. Got it? So it need not be 100 grams every day. Maybe it is only 90 calories excess on that particular day, and you might have accumulated only 10 grams of fat on that day. But 10 grams into 365 days, right? Almost 3.5 kgs of fat. So 3.5 kgs or 2 kgs, even if it is only 45 calories, only half of that, 1.5 kg in a year, and we don't see a particular problem. But what if 2 kgs every year, people start accumulating fat in the body? So body has this uncanny ability to write its own code, right? Software code. If anything you are repeatedly over a period of time, anything you are doing repeatedly over a period of time, body writes a program for that. Okay, that becomes our subconscious behavior. Every time you are eating food, insulin will calculate, okay, what is my boss doing, right? Whether he is going for activity or not, whether he is going to spend these calories or not, to run the body, how many calories this person needs, and rest of them are going into the fat. Okay, so accumulating 5 to 6 kgs of fat in our body initially is a hard task, right? But once you cross that 5 kg or 4 kg, whatever your threshold is, from there the fat making process is on autopilot. Got it? It is on autopilot. Because of our eating habits, what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, what not to eat, if we don't pay attention to these particular aspects, and we are not paying enough attention to our exercise. See, if you look at us Indians, even to go to the second floor, most of us, we use elevator, right? Elevators are invented to save time, not energy. Human beings are capable of climbing Mount Everest. I mean, going to second floor or fourth floor is not a big task. But our mindset is like this. What? Only people living in fifth floor and above. Only are they paying the maintenance in the society? We are also paying. We are also entitled to use that elevator. Okay. So who is losing with this particular argument? We are losing. The moment you make a choice about whether to do exercise your muscles or not, insulin, the behavior of the insulin gets reinforced. The behavior is sponsored by the belief that, okay, if my boss, this particular body, the person who is living using this body is not using calories even to go to the first floor or second floor, using physical energy, that means this guy is in need of saving calories. Got it? So over a period of time, which I'll explain in tomorrow's class, okay, why we need to reverse this diabetes and not manage, right? Why this particular kind of behavior is leading to the complications and all, we'll discuss in tomorrow's class. But as I said earlier, we are all making choices, but we refuse to take up or accept the complications. Okay, so if this particular behavior continues, that means we don't know how many calories of food we are taking, and we don't know how many calories we are spending through our expenditure. If we don't know how to manage our weight, leads to what? Increased sugar levels, increased sugar levels in our blood. It could be fasting, random, or postprandial or post meal, whatever it is, they are increasing. Because of what? Because of because of unhealthy food choices we make not consciously, because we don't know, out of ignorance, lack of awareness. And if we don't pay attention to the importance of being fit, right, what happens? It is finally leading into increased blood sugar. And if we don't maintain our weight, the fat is becoming resistant. It is no longer doing its job. It is comfortably ordering rest of the people, rest of the insulins. So go and make fat. Anyway, this person is not going to use any calories. So this particular behavior is making our sugar levels shoot up in our blood throughout the day. And what do you call this condition as? Increased blood sugar in our body. This is nothing but diabetes, right? This is the story that you have scripted till now. This is the story you have scripted till now. Now, if these are roots and these are offshoots, all the medications that we are using today, whether it is insulin or any oral hypoglycemic drugs that we are taking, is to cut off the branches, but we are not looking at the root. The purpose of this holistic diabetes reversal training program is to sensitize you by teaching you the basics of human body. If you choose to make certain choices over a period of time and create healthy habits or habits that are serving your health, then we can easily reverse diabetes. So that's it for today's class. Tomorrow we are going to discuss an important thing, how our behavior is changing the way our insulin is responding in our body, right? What is the need for reversing it? You don't have to suffer with diabetes for rest of your life. It is possible, but we don't know what exactly this increased sugar level is doing to our body on a day-to-day basis. Okay, you might be tempted to have one rasgulla or some other sweet, or have a soft drink or some kind of biryani. I don't find any fault with that. Okay, but the problem is your body is already being heavily taxed, right? It is already undergoing lot of stress because of this insulin levels. So if it is already burning inside, what is the point in taking the petrol and dumping on into the fire? That awareness is more important, which we will be discussing in class number 3. Thank you.